So I'm curious to know why you're motivated to help the asylum and refugee seekers who have come to Toronto in the past few months.
I'm motivated because, to see just humans on the road, on the street, with just their bags, no kind of support, no kind of access to anything. So for me, I'm a person who just loves to help, and I will help, in any way, shape I can, any form I can. So for me, it was when we got the call from Pastor Judith, and she was like, they're here. To be honest, I wasn't even aware of it until I saw the video that Pastor Judith sent, and it was very shocking to me. So for me, just to help them in any way I can, I'm here, because that's just my heart. Yeah.
And what would you say you have discovered in the course of helping?
I discovered for them their strength. I discovered that they're more tolerable. For me, it's been I've learned so much, because to see individuals who have gone through what they've gone through and they are smiling and laughing. I was speaking to a gentleman. He says he gets up every morning and he just thanks God. He thanks God for the blessing. And I think to myself, wow, right? I'm here, home, and sometimes the things you complain about. So for me, it's been growth, to be honest, of what truly matters in life. And it's just, they've blessed me more, I think. Like you would think, they've been fed and they have a roof overhead, but just their spirit, their soul, their tenacity, I've just learned a lot.
That's interesting, because we think that we're helping them, but it's reciprocal.
Yes.
And that they're here to teach us as well.
Yes.
And you've quite rightly pointed out.
Yes.
It's taught us how grateful we need to be and how blessed we are.
That's right.
Fortunate. What would you say that is your greatest takeaway, though, from doing all this?
There's lots of work to be done. I think, it's here, but my greatest takeaway is I think it's blatant to have individuals come in. It's just a big eye-opener to me as far as the government and how they view our people, because there's been, just the other day I heard that when, I think it was the Ukrainians came in, they had, an apartment, credit cards, they didn't really lack. They came, jobs were available. So the takeaway for me is really and you said it, like it's the modern day slavery that we endure because of the system that's in place. And it's like the modern day Underground Railroad, right? To me, it's here, but that's one of the biggest eye openers for me, is how the government has failed. But as well that, we are here. Pastor Judith has said the church was the first responders, and we are here as the church, and we will make that difference. So the greatest takeaway is, it's time to galvanize and see what we can do to help with this continuous, because it's not, people are always going to be coming. Our people are always going to be coming. So what can we do? And we're going to do it.
So I'll ask, Pastor Judith, when we speak, but this is a church
Yes.
that's primarily responsible for spiritually nurturing a community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if a church's role is to participate in politics or community. I'm not sure. But what's your feeling in terms of the church's role in challenging the status quo and advocating for change? Does the church have a role in that regard?
I think as far as community, that is the church, right? We are here to help. There is, a scripture that says, we're here to help those who are widowed, those who are hungry, those who need clothing. So I do believe there's a role to play. Politics, me personally, I wouldn't be the one, but I do know there are individuals and there are mindsets that, yes, we should be at the table, right? Because, what makes up a human, right? Soul, body, mind, and spirit. All those things come into play. So I believe that the church does have a place when it comes to politics. I believe we should be at the table, right? I know that that's not the norm, but I think that's been a missing factor because everybody that comes to the building will say, you know what? We haven't seen this done before. Even those who have, who are employed to do this type of work. The people from the city have said, we have not seen it function like this before. So I think that speaks for itself, right? So I do believe that we should be a part of that conversation, and we do have answers, right? Everybody that's come here said, there's just something different. They can't put their finger on it. We know what it is. But, there's just a difference, and that is the love, the care. It's not just, you've come in and you're going through this cycle to get, your stay here to make a difference in society. You're dealing with people who have emotions and feelings, and that should be a factor. That's what's missing. So yes, we belong at the table.
Thank you.
So.
Did you have any questions, Darren?
Well, I did have some questions that I wanted to ask, and one question that I was wondering about is, for you, I know that you guys have done a wonderful job here, and it seems like this is something that, although the government's supposed to be taking care of, you're well suited to doing this. And I just wanted to know, for the needs that you have seen of your guests here, what would you say is one of the most common needs that you've been able to address with the assistance site? And I mean, like, aside from shelter and food, what's one of the most common needs that your guests have had that you've dealt with?
I think, again, it's partnership, right? But with that partnership, and I think with the passion and, engaging with those individuals, a lot of their needs have been met. Even when it has come to some of the where they are in their process. Right? If they weren't here, and if Pastor Judith wasn't pushing for some of these to expedite, some of their paperwork, and that they would still be probably on Peter Street with no work permits, no social insurance numbers. Obviously, we cannot provide those things, but we know the resources are out there, and we continue to push and knock on those doors. And it's it's really nice to see that, you know what, the hearts of the individuals in those organizations are like, yeah, we're going to do this. You know, they've come to this doorstep to help these
I'm
individuals.
curious to know what's next. I mean, after this, what happens? Is there follow-up? Is there further engagement? I mean, how do you see the long road ahead?
Yes, we're constantly exchanging numbers. This has become their church homes. You know, they themselves are like, what do we do, you know, once we get placed? As far as the relationship goes, absolutely. Everybody that has left, it's, you know, how do we stay connected? You know, this is my home. We say, you come here every Sunday, we're here. As far as the work, yeah, we, you know, we're here for the long haul. And we are going to sit at the table and say, and plan out, strategize. How are we going to continue to make a difference in the lives of any Black, you know, person that would come to this country seeking assistance, seeking, you know, a new life here? How can we assist in that process for them? So that's our takeaway. We're going to do what we can.
One of the most moving things that I came across, I think Tyrone would agree, was we spoke to two men. And in each instance, maybe coincidentally, they had 5 children. They left their children and their wives. And you could tell that they were grieving the absence of their children and their families.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if there is any interest or opportunity to reunite these men with their families, because I think that would be a huge plus.
Yes, definitely.
If we could facilitate that. But is that part of what we see as a possibility?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anything is possible. And as a believer in Jesus Christ, you know, there's a scripture that says with him all things are possible. You might not even know the next steps, but I believe with, you know, prayer, direction, resources, because again, that's the goal. You want anyone that comes over, if it's a father who had to leave his children, his wife, you want them united. So again, if we don't have the resources, we're going to seek out those resources. We're going to knock on those doors and say, you know what, now that this has happened, what's the next step? You know, those who have put themselves in those, you know, in that arena to help in those ways, we're going to knock on those doors.
We didn't get a chance to speak to a woman, but have you encountered women who have left their children behind as well? That must be horrible.
Yeah, it's the stories are. It's again, a lot of the stories. It's unbelievable what these men and women have walked away from, have ran from, you know, and again, their strength just to laugh and, you know, have joy. It's really compelling. It's unbelievable. But, you know, I feel, however we can help, again, you know, to unite. You know, they're in constant contact. So again, you know, we understand the hole that it's left in their hearts. You know, so
if you could speak to, you know, the wider community who are kind of on the edge of this, they're not involved, they're just watching the TV, they're reading the news, what would you say to them? What would you have? What would be your message?
be my message? See, this is where
You're doing amazing.
I would say, come in from the on the outside, come to the inside, and however you can assist, however you can help, whatever resources you can provide, come to the table. Everybody just needs support, and if you can provide that, just come to the table, because life, you never know what your next day looks like, and I just feel everybody just needs help and support at some point, and don't sit back and think, oh my gosh, it can, it might not, but come to your door. But I just plenty hands make work light, so I just say come to the table and assist how you can.
That was beautiful.